I've got 20 of the craziest headlines from the Lle-r-us pandemic, scandemic, scam that's being played on us right now. I'm going to hit them hard so we can get to them. Thanks for tuning in to Hard News TV4. I'm your host, Terry Lynn, and this is the channel where truth is like archaeology, and every day we're digging for it. Today's October 14th, 2020. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each one, or we'd be here 30 minutes, but I'll leave y'all the links. This first article is from Barron's. Governments are using the pandemic, scandemic, Lle-r-us to crack down on online dissent. That's the whole point, to shut us up. Governments around the world are using the pandemic, scandemic, Lle-r-us as a justification to expand surveillance and crack down on dissent online. It's not just online. They're wanting to crack down on our free speech in the real world too. So here are some of the craziest things that I have seen in a while. Okay, so this is from September 28th, but the next article is going to go in with it. So this is from ABC 8 News. It says CDC ranks Thanksgiving activities by COVID-19 risk. No gatherings with out-of-town relatives or Black Friday shopping. Their suggestion? We all need to have a virtual Thanksgiving. We need to have Zoom Thanksgiving gatherings. How ridiculous. Taking away our human connection. Hey, Aunt Susie, I'm smelling that pecan pie all the way over here. You smelling my dressing? Oh, man, I'm so full. Y'all point your cameras over this way. I'm going to undo my britches, and I'm going to lay on the couch because I can't even move. My stomach's so tight. Y'all let me see y'all how full y'all's belly are. I mean, is this getting ridiculous? Now, here are the stated symptoms of the Lle-r-us, and then we're going to get into the crazy headlines, okay? Symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure. Fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion, runny nose, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Look for emergency warnings for the COVID-19. If someone is showing any of these signs, seek emergency medical attention immediately. Trouble breathing, persistent pain or pressure in the chest, new confusion, inability to wake up, bluish lips or face. Now watch the crazy headlines. Now remember the symptoms. So this is from today. Side effect: man 45 years old is first in the world to go permanently deaf suddenly from the coronavirus, doctors warn. I didn't see that on the list of symptoms. Let's keep going. Why does COVID-19 disproportionately affect older people? This is from July 29th. Taller people face risk of catching COVID-19, survey says. Okay, I felt like that's like a Family Feud survey says. Okay, so yeah, this could be the top 10. What are some of the signs of COVID? Old people get it. Tall people get it. People in nursing homes. So if tall people get it, how come all the short people in the nursing homes are the ones getting it at a higher proportion? But let's keep going. They tell us to follow the science, but we just read the list of signs and symptoms of the COVID, and the new crazy signs and symptoms are getting ludicrous, okay? Now, this is another article. Are taller people more likely to catch a coronavirus infection? New study from Oxford finds a higher prevalence of COVID-19 among people who are more than 6 feet tall. Okay, how many people over 6 feet tall do you see in the nursing homes? But yet, now taller people are going to get it. Okay. Then this article is from August 14th. U.S. blacks 3 times more likely than whites to get COVID-19. This is like calling it sickle cell anemia or something. So if blacks are more likely to get it, 3 times more likely than white people, Why is the government not protecting them, quote unquote? Why is the government saying, okay, y'all go riot in the streets and Black Lives Matter, have your protests, y'all can go out with no mask on? Either it's true or it's not true. Either it's true or not true that blacks are 3 times more likely to get than whites. And if it's true, then are the politicians going to be held liable for not protecting Black Lives Matter? Because their Black lives don't matter if they're out on the street allowed to riot and pillage without a mask on, and they're making themselves susceptible to dying of the COVID? Is that irresponsible of the government? Is that ethnic cleansing? I mean, this is just getting ridiculous. Okay, and we talked about this in a video, I think yesterday, 2 days ago. Coronavirus may stay on cash, banknotes, for 28 days, we read. Okay, but then the next article says that coronavirus does not spread easily by touching surfaces or objects, okay? But it may be possible. So they tell us to trust the science, but the science changes quicker than the balls coming out of a batting cage at batting practice. This is getting ridiculous. Now, we saw the whole list of breathing, difficulty breathing. Okay, now here's another one from June 25th. When COVID hits the brain, it can cause strokes, psychosis, and dementia-like symptoms, new survey shows. Okay, are we seeing any of these things listed on what it causes? Tall people, black people, old people, people with, the underlying conditions. It's going to get crazy. On my channel that got pulled down, I did a big old article on this. New York Times article is what I used, but now I've used too many free articles and I got to subscribe to it. Can estrogen and other sex hormones help men survive? So doctors are treating men with estrogen to try to cure them of the Lle-r-us. So they're effeminizing men under the guise of treating them for COVID, okay? It's taken the fight out of men and effeminizing them. Last week, doctors on Long Island in New York, now this is from New York Times, started treating COVID-19 male patients with estrogen in an effort to increase their immune system. And next week, physicians in Los Angeles will start treating male patients with another hormone that is predominantly found in women, okay? Do you see how crazy this is getting? Was that even on the list, okay? So the science changes every day. Now let's go to the next one. Now look at this one. This is from yesterday. People are vulnerable to diabolic attacks during the pandemic, Exorcist says. So now if you're tall, black, old, got diabetes, if you're a man taking estrogen, if you're going to get dementia, you're going to go permanently deaf from it. Now you're sitting there and you're going to get invaded by devils while we're in the pandemic. Do y'all see how crazy this is getting? So it says that they need the vaccine because they're so vulnerable right now. Look at the opening line. With still no approved vaccine for the deadly coronavirus disease that has caused a pandemic, many people suffering from its effects, particularly the restrictions that come with it, inclined to be vulnerable due to diabolic attacks. So with no vaccine available, they're open to demonic attacks because of the vaccine. Is this getting crazy? Now, remember the first thing that we read about, the first article, governments use the pandemic to crack down, okay? Public humiliation. Hitachi develops fish bubble to enforce social distancing. Japanese tech firms step in to help prevent coronavirus, quote, infections, reports NHK News with a clip of the fishbowl in action. To ensure people keep their distance, the system uses sensors to detect people's locations and then projects a 2-meter circle around their body, which depicts cartoon fish swimming around inside the bubble. Okay, y'all, cartoon fish for grown-ups. Is this getting cartoonish? Now remember, the headline of the one before this was public humiliation. Public humiliation. Then the next one, you remember I did a whole video on this before it got pulled down. German cafe tells customers to wear pool noodles to enforce social distancing. And I said, you remember the governments were making clowns out of people? And there's no way I'd sit at a table with a pool noodle on my head. Now remember, that first article was public humiliation and making men take estrogen, putting little cartoon fish swimming around you, drawing circles for you to stand in, wearing pool noodles on your head. They are laughing at how easily gullible and controllable America is. Right now, the government could come and force, wouldn't even have to force too hard, but tell people to drink cyanide Kool-Aid just like Jim Jones did, and the masses are brainwashed enough to drink the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. And then I did a whole video on the cone of shame about the Maine governor ordered that restaurants wear cones to keep the health risk down in the restaurant so that they don't breathe on people's foods. More public humiliation. Cones of shame. Maine orders restaurant servers to don a face shield like dog collars in bizarre COVID-19 guidelines. If you see over here to the left, it says Donald Trump Jr. Maxine Waters is corrupt and out of touch elite. It's time for a change. But this was on his page, the main from Life site. This isn't a joke, people. This is 2020, the year where the governor of Maine requires servers at restaurants to not wear masks but dog cones. Remember? Public humiliation. And while they hold up the masses to public humiliation to submit to their crazy ideas, Facebook bans ads questioning the safety of the COVID-19 vaccines. So the signs and symptoms of the COVID virus change every single day. And Facebook, remember the first article I did, that the government is cracking down on what people talk about. Facebook banning ads and posts of people questioning the safety of the Lle-r-us vaccine. None of it is factual, but we're not allowed to use our brain and think. Instead, we have to accept little cartoon fish swimming around us, okay? And wear noodles on our head, okay? So that gives a new meaning to use your noodle, don't it? Because we're not allowed to use our noodle. We can only wear them. Y'all please leave me your comments below and let me know what you think. Insanity is now accepted and logical thinking is seen as evil. Y'all please leave me your comments below and let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.